Welcome back to another episode of Excuse My Grandma. It's Kim and my co-host.
Grandma Gail.
So we're talking all about sports this week.
Which is really out of your comfort zone.
Oh my God, I hate it. I used to joke to people, if I were the president of the United States, my first thing would be to ban sports.
That's what I like about you, Kim. You were all rounded.
Although I do like golf, so I guess I can't really say that anymore.
Right. Now, and plus the fact, last night, of all things, you went to the Garden and you went to the Knicks game, right?
Yes. Well, I went to the Knicks game, let's be clear, not to be an avid basketball fan, but I love the happenings around like the celebrity row at Madison Square Garden. In the first row, like all of the big names are sitting there.
And it was the first night, wasn't it? It was really a big
It was
game,
the home opener, yes.
which is exciting in itself.
It was so exciting. It went into double overtime.
Which is
and then
unusual.
the Knicks won, which was great. And it was Knicks Celtics. We saw Dustin Hoffman, Michael J. Fox, Pete Davidson, Angus Elgort.
Well, that's it. So you could have taken your autograph book out and had your best.
No,
night
I don't
ever.
like asking celebrities for autographs.
Teasing.
Have you ever asked?
Did they ask you for your autograph, by the way?
No.
Oh, well.
But you know what's so funny? Actually, I was coming out of the Uber into Madison Square Garden, and I went through like a separate entrance, and there was like where a lot of the celebrities do walk in, like the VIP entrance, and there was a lot of paparazzi, and I like jumped out of the Uber and I was kind of like running in just because like I didn't want to be in the crowd with all the people, like with COVID. And then they like started flashing pictures, and they were like, oh wait, I don't know who you are, but we all just took your picture.
You should have said, "Excuse my grandma star."
It's too full of yourself to say something like that.
I don't know. I think you could have done it. You could have carried it off.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, I was wearing an Excuse My Grandma hat last night to the game, by the way, because I was figuring if for some reason somebody did take any sort of picture and I was in the background, then it would be free.
Well,
press.
meanwhile, yesterday we were in a store together, just looking around, and a woman recognized us.
Yes.
And we were so excited. She said, "Oh, we loved you on TikTok."
Yeah.
I said, "And they love our podcast." So you never know. I think you should have. We didn't wear our hats then. We should have worn our hats all day. But I mean, it's only so much that we can carry this.
I know. And if you guys also want hats, we can make some swag for everybody.
So let us know.
Let us know.
We're thinking about black and white.
So the guys we're speaking to this week have a podcast called The Latke Room, as in potato pancake latkes. It's a play on words of the locker room because they do talk about sports a lot. They
were all college athletes.
They're all college athletes, and they're all Jewish. They interview influential Jewish figures.
Not only sports, though. They've branched out.
Right. And we have 2 of the 3 co-hosts on, really nice boys.
So I'm looking forward to hearing from them. I think it's so cute that they're doing what they're doing.
All right, so we are joined by Johnny and Max. They are the co-hosts of The Locker Room, which is a podcast that brings guests into their locker room, got it, that are all influential Jewish figures. So they talk about sports, entertainment, dating, and they're here to tell you all about it. Thanks for joining us, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks for having us. Big fans.
Yeah,
Good. We need all the fans we can get.
Yeah, Johnny, you said you're an avid listener, which we appreciate.
Mm-hmm. I wanted to save it for the recording, but yeah, I'm a huge fan. I've listened to almost every episode. I really do love listening to you guys. And I got to give a shout out to our other co-host, Justin, who couldn't make it today.
Yes, 3 co-hosts. We have 2 of them here with us. Do you want to compliment us anymore, or should we get into the interview?
I mean, I'm hoping you guys get Oprah on, because I would love to see.
Did you see our video the other day where
I did.
we were saying
so
just
funny.
if
That was my dream.
Yeah, well, we were doing, we're on TikTok. If our listeners haven't checked that out, Grandma Gal doesn't really understand it, but she,
no idea.
She was talking
Neither
about
do
her
we.
dream guest, and Oprah. We did Kate Middleton,
Right.
and Alex Cooper of Call Her Daddy. So let's get started with where you guys are from and how you actually met each other.
We're both from Long Island. I'm from Port Washington. I don't want to like speak for Johnny, but he's from Syosset.
Yeah.
It's a rivalry.
I don't want to speak for Johnny, but I'll do it anyway.
And how did you guys actually meet?
We met on Birthright actually in 18, Max? 2018 or 2019?
Yeah. Wow. It's about, I think it's 2019.
2019. So
Yeah,
yeah, it's been about 3 years almost, but we kind of just like clicked right away on Birthright. We were roommates for most of the trip. So that's how we became friends.
Did you get to pick your roommates?
I don't know.
No.
I think I did it I did it in
towards the end we
2018.
did.
You might have
did
been on the
2018?
same trip.
No, obviously I would have remembered that
Yeah.
Oh.
because it was 30 kids. I would have remembered who was on the trip. I loved it. Did you guys have a good time?
Yeah.
It was awesome.
Yeah, it was great. So you met there, and then how did the podcast actually come to be?
So Justin, our other co-host, texted me. Justin and I played hockey together in Texas. It's like junior hockey, so it's before college, but after high school. And Justin texted me because he had known that I was doing like media stuff in college. My junior and senior year, I did a lot of media on campus and then internship wise. So Justin texted me like, "Hey, I think we should start a podcast like interviewing Jewish athletes." And I was like, literally light bulb went off in my head. I was like, that is like my calling. Like that's amazing. The only problem is we know enough Jewish athletes that'll last us maybe a month.
Right.
So kind of from there, I was like, who is smart that would know how to run the podcast? Max was my first thought. Brought in Max. Max kind of helped us get off the ground running. And then we actually started it in February 2020, so right before COVID hit. Mm-hmm. And then once COVID happened, it was kind of a blessing for us in a sense because everyone was doing nothing, so it was so easy to get guests. So we were just DMing like literally 50 people a day, like trying to get any kind of response. And the amount of people that replied to us was incredible. So that's how it kind of got started. But we decided that, Jewish athletes was just going to limit us. So let's just make it kind of like all influential Jewish people in different walks of life. And it's cool because now we talk to, people with so many different backgrounds, but we all have that one thing in common is being Jewish. And it's not like, we don't really talk religion on the podcast. Like obviously it comes up every now and then, but, we just think it's like a culturally Jewish podcast because that's just like how we were raised. So
who is the most interesting guest that you think you have had on so far?
So I'm like a really big sports fan. So we got Evan Roberts on, who's like a huge WFAN personality who I've been listening to since I was like growing up and everything. So when we had him on, I just thought that was really cool. Mm-hmm. Like for me, like the way you want to get Oprah Winfrey or anyone else, like for me, I'm probably going to go. Evan Roberts is probably on my top 3 of like just Jewish people that I'd love to talk to. So for me, that was a pretty surreal experience.
Do they feel any discrimination when they're going into their sports in college or high school because they're Jewish, or is it strictly on merit? I mean, now there's so many different issues out there. I'm just curious if anybody even cares if somebody is Jewish or not. Entering the field of hockey or basketball. I mean, if you're tall enough or probably fast enough, you'll probably make it. But is there inherent prejudice against Jewish athletes?
I don't know if there's anything against Jewish athletes, but, obviously we are the minority in most of the locker rooms that we're in. So that's kind of why also like our name was so perfect, like the locker room, because it was like, the only time I've ever been in a locker room with like more than 2 other Jewish kids was Maccabee games in Israel. So for us, like we always just felt like, not that it was like ever a bad thing, but obviously there were some jokes around the locker, like, just how kids are and how athletes are. So, we heard the occasional Jew jokes growing up and stuff because, I grew up in a very Jewish population. And when I went to the rink, I was like the only Jewish kid there. So it was like a weird kind of dynamic, but I don't think there's any kind of prejudice against it. If anything, Jewish athletes they're starting to get more of us in the professional league. So it's really cool to see.
What sport gets the most Jewish athletes? Is there one?
It's honestly a good question.
I would have thought it would be tennis, but it doesn't seem to be.
I was going to say that too,
because there's no height. The height is not as the height in the body physique is usually is demanding. But I don't know if that's true because there's been an awful lot of tennis players that came out of Israel and that we certainly were pushing it in the States. It never seemed to develop. I'm very curious about that. Why it hasn't actually.
Honestly, I have no idea, but we've had 2 tennis players on our show, Noah Rubin and Jamie Loeb, who are awesome. But I can't really think of a specific league.
I don't know if there even is one that's like disproportionately different. I was just curious. So 2 nice Jewish boys here. This is a dating podcast. How involved are your mothers or your grandmothers in your dating life?
Or in setting you up on your dating life?
I could start with Max, if you don't mind.
Go ahead.
My mom actually has been involved in my dating life probably my entire life. She used to own a clothing store in Great Neck called Infinity. I don't know if you guys are familiar with it.
Sure.
Oh my God, I used to love
You love
Infinity.
that.
Well, because there was
Yeah.
one on the Upper East Side too.
In
Yeah, so
Manhattan.
Mhm.
my mom owned the one in Great Neck, and she, like, every time, growing up for me when I was like 13, 14, 15, 16, throughout high school, like, girls would shop at her store, and she'd always try to set me up with the girls from Great Neck that would shop at her store.
Hilarious.
And I'm pretty much an open book. Like, I tell my parents like everything. Like, honestly, my mom could probably name like a majority of the girls that I've been with. Like, it maybe in a bad way, I don't know, but my mom was always the mother that picked up from the parties. So whenever we were spewing drunk in the car, she heard everything.
Right.
So that's kind of
How
how
old are you?
involved my mom is. I'm 25.
Oh, so the same age as Kimberly.
Yeah,
Okay.
we're the same age as Kim.
Okay.
My grandma was never really involved actually in my dating life. She just, like, I have a girlfriend now of like almost 2.5 years. So every time I talk to my grandma, she just asks when I'm going to get engaged. And I'm like,
Right.
I'm still living home, Mimi. I got to figure out my life first, But that's
We're looking for the next generation. We're not that interested in how your
Yeah.
life is. We'd like to see a little grandchild. That's really
Yeah.
the issue.
Luckily for me, I have an older sister who's working on that. So
Okay, that's good. Somebody's coming forward.
takes
And
pressure
Max,
off
how
me.
about you?
So for me, I'm actually going to, the way I'm going to answer this question is by telling the story. So, and Grandma Gail, you're probably going to love this. So my mom, she plays Canasta, but
Oh,
like
our favorite.
on like an app.
Yes,
So-
Canasta Junction.
Canasta Junction, there you go.
I know
Perfect.
it. Listen,
Apparently,
So-
it sold for a few billion dollars. By
it's
the
sold
way.
for a lot of
Wow.
money.
So my mom, she goes on and she has conversations with these other Jewish grandmas or Jewish mothers, and she's like, "I got a date for you. I'm gonna send it over for you. It's all through Canasta Junction." My
No.
mom is, in a way, a great wing woman for me.
Good.
So, she looks out for me, but whereas Laz is like an open book with his mother, my mom doesn't know everything about my sex life. I try to keep that kind of between me, my friends,
That's healthier,
and
I think.
my brother, which I think is more normal.
And then Johnny, how did you meet your girlfriend?
I met my girlfriend. I explained it 2 different ways. I DM'd her originally, but I didn't know who she was, and she had a boyfriend. And
Do you
then,
remember
like,
what DM is?
Sliding in.
Yeah, slide
Yeah.
it
See?
on Instagram, like you message someone directly.
Okay.
you'll appreciate the line I used too, and this was at a time when I had no front teeth. Like, these are all fake. These 4.
From
and
your hockey,
hockey?
days.
Yeah. So I DM'd her and said, "I heard you think I'm hot." Never heard that. Like, literally just made it up. But I knew her big in college and her college roommate. So I just, like, always saw her, like, pictures of her and stuff, and I always thought she was cute. So I DM'd her that, and then like 6 months later, I was standing outside in line of Southampton Social, and someone said my name, and she was like, "Who's Johnny Lazarus?" And I was like, "Me." And then I was like, "Oh my God, you're Ellie. Like, so nice to meet you." And then we ended up taking an Uber together to a different bar in the Hamptons, but then, like, kind of got lost throughout the night. And then she posted a picture on, like, that following Monday, and I just commented on it, "Miss you." And then she DM'd me. And then I drove out to the Hamptons like the following Sunday to take her on a beach date with some wine. And then
Oh,
Kinda just
cute.
That's
Really?
nice.
Yeah.
We like that. We
Yeah,
like-
I love
Yeah.
that.
We
I love
like
the
beach
entire
nights.
trajectory.
Oh,
well,
I love
I think
beach
DMing
nights.
is the best thing ever. Like, I think Instagram is the best dating app out there because, like, everyone just promotes their best self on Instagram. So why not use that as, like, a tool to meet
Well,
people?
we've discussed that. Because sometimes it's a big phony baloney. If they're taking the right shots, or maybe it's 10 years ago that you're looking at those pictures before they lost all the weight or when they gained
Yeah.
all the weight.
Yeah.
But anyway, it is a tool. It's really something
Yeah.
that's certainly used.
Yeah. I wouldn't like have an online relationship that goes very far before meeting someone in person, but I
Mhm.
think it is a very good way to meet people. Are either of you fans of dating apps? Like when you were single, Johnny or Max, are you on them?
I am. I don't really like them. I'd
Mhm.
rather go to a bar and like talk to a girl, or like hit up someone that I've actually met before that I think is single.
Mhm.
So I think that's
I think it's just as scary for guys, isn't it, as for girls? I mean, you don't know who
Yeah.
you're getting on a lot of these dating apps. I don't care how they're vetted. I still think there's an issue.
I don't know if you don't think it's scary, right? I think it's just like,
no. Oh
I think
yeah,
it's
I don't think
scary.
I'm. Yeah, I
Well,
don't.
they're not scared. They're big
Really?
guys, but you're 5'2", so you could be scared.
The one thing that I'm gonna small talk with people. So like
Mhm.
I've met people. Johnny's laughing at me. I met people in my elevator in my apartment building, and then
Grandma always says that's where you have to meet people.
But that's a good thing because you live in
Right.
that building. It's smart. Very good, Max.
thank you.
I like it.
You want to be my grandma?
I'll be your grandma anytime.
She's
I'm
America's
everybody's
grandma.
She is America's grandma.
I'm giving advice to everybody. I don't know what I'm saying, but I'm giving advice out.
I want to talk also a little bit about if there's a stereotype around dating college athletes, especially hockey players. Johnny, do you think there is one? And if so, what would you say it is?
There definitely is one, because I could tell you firsthand. I was a 24-year-old senior in college. We, a lot of college hockey players go in late because we have like 3 extra years to make Division I and make Division III if we want. So I actually turned 21 my freshman year of college. So I was in the freshman writing class, with 18-year-olds, and I was 21, which was funny. But I mean, it's definitely tough too, because I first started dating my girlfriend senior year of college. So I couldn't ever visit her because I had games every weekend. So she had to come to my school if she ever wanted to see me. Like, we were doing long distance. She went to the University of Florida, and I was at Mercier. So it honestly put a lot of pressure on her. And I think there's obviously a lot of pressure on whoever is dating the athlete to kind of make it work, because our schedules are so limited to actually like having fun and doing what we want. So honestly, what was kind of nice about the pandemic, it happened like we all know in March 2020. And that was the one time I was able to go visit her at Florida, because, I was told school was online for 2 weeks. So I ended up staying there for like 50 days because COVID just got more and more serious. So I couldn't even leave. But
there's problems. You can't get your act together because you have really no definite schedule. You're on the schedule of the athletic department, really.
Is there anything you kind of realized or advice that you can give to people to do long distance?
I mean, long distance is tough. Like it really sucks. But I don't know. I mean, maybe I guess if you can kind of get through, if there is an end date, maybe I'd say like it's worth it to do. For the couples that do long distance and don't have any end date to it, God bless you, because I don't know how you could do that. Like for me, my girlfriend and I like always kind of felt we'd end up in the same place, so it made it a little easier to have like hope for that one day.
Totally.
But for the couples that are like, someone's in LA and someone's in New York, and like they both just have jobs and like have no interest in moving cities, I don't know how you could possibly do that. Because
yeah, I agree with that. Max, you're a sports fan, yes?
Yeah.
So let's say a girl that you're going out with doesn't like sports. Is that going to be an issue for you?
No, it won't. Actually,
I had to think about it.
Had to hesitate a little bit.
I actually thought about this a little bit. If I there's sometimes like if it's a playoff game and I'm like really into it, like there are times where I'd want to go to the game without, my girlfriend or without my wife or fiance.
Okay.
So if she's not into sports, it's not like it's not an issue.
Deal breaker.
So this is an issue that I feel like I would have and a lot of girls have, of when the guys are like, I'm going to watch football this Sunday with the guys, and there's no invite for the girls to come along. Does a girl or a girlfriend have the right to be annoyed about something like that?
Yeah, I do. I mean, personally, I think the whole thing is invite them and let them decide if they want to come or not. Chances are, if they're not into sports, they're going to say, no, I don't want to watch football while you guys drink a few beers and eat wings. So I think it's all about just, being considerate and asking.
Right.
That's
Getting
really
the
nice.
invite. Getting the invite is the most important thing.
Is it a red flag then if the guy says to the girl, like, it's just going to be a boys' day? No
Is it
invite.
every Sunday?
Let's say it's every Sunday.
I mean, maybe. I got lucky. My girlfriend came to hang out with me and my friends like 2 Sundays ago. She was there for like 15 minutes. Like, I'm out of here. So,
Right.
I mean, I kind of got lucky in that sense,
Yeah. Yeah. It's good to have a mix because you want your friend time also.
Yeah, for sure.
But I could see how it could be annoying every Sunday to be like, you can't come to something.
Well, I think that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's not that they can't come. They might not enjoy it. So you have to have some other option. If the girl is going to be annoyed, then this relationship is going to be an ongoing thing. Because I'm married 58 years. Every Sunday, he's watching every ball game and every Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
So either you sit and watch it with him, or you might have another activity that you equally enjoy to
Right.
do on those weekends. So if that becomes a deal breaker, then you got troubles right from the beginning.
Can I ask you a follow-up question?
Sure.
I don't know if this is the proper comparison, but like a football Sunday to me is similar to, fans of The Bachelor or Bachelor Monday.
Mhm.
So if your boyfriend hates The Bachelor, would you want him there?
No, because he'd be like, "This is boring. I'm annoyed. Like,
So
let's
it
watch
is
something
exactly
else."
the same thing. You're absolutely
So it's
right.
like the same kind of trade-off. Like you can invite him, but then if you know he won't be happy, you wouldn't want to invite him, right? Like,
Yeah, that's a really good comparison. I think if I was watching it alone, I would definitely
Mhm.
say like, "Come watch with me."
Yeah.
But like, we're not changing the channel. Like, you have to commit to it.
Yeah.
If I was doing it with the girls, I think it would be like, why would I also have my boyfriend there?
Yeah. I mean, I think it's like the same thing. Like
Yeah.
Yeah,
I've had my fair share of Bachelor Mondays, the wine, the cheese boards. Like,
Yeah.
it's a good night. It's a good night, but not every guy is built for it,
yeah, or once in a blue moon, but not every
Mhm.
time. I agree.
Mhm.
I like this comparison. I feel like I feel better about it now.
Yeah, for sure.
So I want to play a game with you guys. So usually with our guests, we do Grandma Gail's red green flag quiz, but we're gonna do shit guys say edition.
Okay.
So I'm gonna say something that a guy may text or say to someone, and you can either say it's BS or that they have a legit reason for saying it. So when a guy says, "Sorry, I've been so MIA, work has been crazy." Has work actually been crazy? Or if you like a girl, do you remember to text her?
BS.
Max forgets to text me sometimes, so.
Yeah, but
I'm not so sure.
That's-
I honestly think that sometimes, though, a guy or a woman can say, I've been so overwhelmed with work. It was hard this week to get back to you. But I think a text would always, how long does a text take? Maybe a second.
Mhm.
So I think that's sort of an excuse.
Honestly, the problem is too, and I've seen people like tweet about this. Text should be like you should be able to mark a text as like unread. Like if I
Agreed.
open a text and forget to answer it,
So you don't
like
forget.
I'm probably not
yeah.
going to see it again. So I think that's also a big thing too, because like there's so many times where I'll see a text and it's like I can't see the full thing, so I click on it, but I'm busy at work and then I just like forget to go back to it.
Totally fair. But if it's like a girl you're obsessing over,
Yeah.
you're not
No
going to
excuse.
forget.
No excuse.
No
Yeah.
excuse.
Mhm.
Okay.
The one thing that I also have realized is just everyone has so much stuff going on right now that if it doesn't work out, like timing and stuff, it's not like a big deal. So sometimes you just gotta let it go and then see what happens later.
Yeah. I mean, if it's so hard to get together with someone, or it's so hard to like have a good texting dynamic, there's so many people out there that would be like more willing to put each other as priorities.
I also think the emphasis is too much on texting. If you're texted a couple of times and you're not going for a cup of coffee or a drink, forget it. It's a
Mhm.
waste of time.
I agree. I hate texting. Max knows that. Pick up the phone and call me.
Exactly.
you are.
Exactly. Unless you're the president, then you're busy
Uh-huh.
sleeping.
Oh, I'm going to cut that out. When you're texting with someone late night, trying to meet up, and then the next morning, the guy says, "Shit, sorry, I fell asleep."
Totally fun.
This. Who does this?
that for sure happens.
All the
Oh, it
time.
does?
Yeah.
And not even just
Who are you dating, you guys? This is
Grandma
ridiculous.
Gail, you know how many times I spend $50 on Taco Bell and I never even saw it?
Oh my God. This is so sad.
Same thing.
That happens all the time. You get home late, you order some food, you're getting excited that's gonna come, and then you rest your eyes for a few seconds, thinking
Uh-huh.
like, gonna wake up, food's gonna be here.
You miss it.
You miss the Taco Bell. That's really bad.
It's depressing.
I don't mean to compare girls to Taco Bell, but it's kind of the same scenario.
More or less. So it's not BS then.
No, definitely not.
Okay. When he says she's just a good friend,
Yeah, I think that seems fair.
what do you think?
That's fine.
Like,
See, I think girls and guys can be somewhat friends, unlike that movie Billy Crystal did, where you can never
when
be
Harry met
friends.
Sally.
Yeah, exactly. I think you can be friends. You have friends from high school and college that are really, truly friends that when you're really not dating. So I think you can be friends. Nothing wrong with
Yes,
that.
but I think that some of my guy friends are like brothers, but like others, I think if I was like, would you want to actually go on a date? They would be like, yeah, 100%.
I don't think friends, after a while, if they haven't asked you already, then forget it. You're
Or-
getting too old for that. That's not high school crushes.
I think that's also fair.
Yeah, I agree.
Like there are a lot of friends that I have that are girls, and if they wanted to go on a legit date, I would in the second say yes. So
Mhm.
Okay.
I think more oftentimes than not, the guy is afraid to cross that boundary. But if the girl does it, like, then it's acceptable, kind of.
Okay, here's the last one. A few hours before, if you have a date planned with someone, and then say, "Oh shit, I had a work thing come up and I can't make it tonight."
Probably yes.
I don't know. I'm 50-50 on it.
I mean,
don't-
unless you're ahead of some kind of big project.
What do you
And
always say?
something
Like,
all-
unless you're the running
Well,
General
Well,
Motors.
unless you're the head of General Motors, nothing is earth shaking. I mean, I get to think that so many people your age make up too many excuses. And
Mhm.
there's always a time that you can just go out. Let's just go for a cup of coffee. Let's go for an ice cream cone. Let's go for something in the neighborhood. If you're geographically close to each other, I don't mean if you're an hour away on a subway, but if you live somewhat in the neighborhood, get an Uber, get in a taxi, take a bus, and make a little effort, and then say, you know what, work. I'm so overwhelmed with work. I got to get back, and I hope to see you soon. Something like that. I don't mean actually that. But
Yeah, I think it's so rude to cancel.
I think canceling
Yeah.
unless it's something
I-
bad
I
or
also
something
think-
so important.
There are ways of if something actually comes up, there's ways of like when you cancel how to like, I guess, phrase it and word it.
I think if a guy said to me like, "How's next Tuesday at 8 p.m. instead," and actually wants to put something on the calendar, I would believe it. But if a guy says like, "Sorry, like can't meet anymore tonight," I don't think I would ever even give a second
Yeah.
chance.
There's nothing worse than "you're gonna hate me," but
Yes.
those
Oh my
texts,
God.
those are the worst ones to get.
PTSD.
Yeah.
It is really the worst.
Like what is it from Talladega Nights? No disrespect, and then this insults you.
Yeah. With all due respect.
Thank you both so much for joining us. This was so fun. Can you tell our listeners how they can follow you and listen to the podcast?
Yeah. Just follow us at The Locker Room, TheLatkeroom. That's actually the first time I've spelled it out, I think. But follow us on Instagram, Twitter. We are on TikTok, actually. So follow us there. And you can follow Max and I personally, Johnny Lazarus, Max Massbaum, and then our other co-host, Justin Kapelmaster. Unfortunately, we couldn't be here today, but we appreciate you guys for having us on, and we definitely want to have you guys on our podcast because I have so many questions that I need to ask, but I didn't want to do it today. But at some point, I would love to have you guys on our show.
Yeah,
I
let's
love
do
to.
it. Hope you guys enjoyed the interview. It was so fun to talk to them. Let's do our 50s movie of the week. We are going to do Damn Yankees, staying with the sports theme.
Which is really, it was great. I mean, it was one of the funniest, cutest musical movies that really graced the big screen. So I think everybody
So it was
will
a
enjoy it.
Broadway musical and then a film.
Yes.
Oh, wait, actually, right. There's a 1958 film. And then trying to see when it was 1955 on Broadway.
Right.
And then there was a Broadway revival in
And
the 90s.
I saw all three versions.
Did you?
Yep.
You know what? I don't think I've ever seen
Dunn
this.
was in the original. I think on the show and also in the movie. And she was a great dancer and she was wonderful. It was wonderful talent. You'll enjoy this movie from beginning to end.
Okay, great. Another great episode of Excuse My Grandma. Follow us on Instagram and TikTok at Excuse My Grandma. Let us know if you have any questions. Please give us 5 stars wherever you're listening. And see you next week.
Bye.